Okay, welcome back, everyone. We have a special guest. You probably see the logo TLC for Kids. I think most of you that have been to TGF and my other previous events over the years are going to say, yes, Andrew brings it up, every conversation he has when he's doing his events and stuff, and it's his charity. And a lot of people have donated over the years and helped out with activities and that. But before we go into everything, I'd like to introduced to a personal friend of mine, a person I'm very proud of, a person I look up to, is Tim from TLC for Kids. Hello, Tim. How are you?
Good, Andrew. How are you? It is so good seeing your face. It's
Yes, I know. It's. We were talking before the interview about how we haven't physically seen each other for probably like 5 years, but it doesn't feel that long, is because we're always. I'm doing an event, you're doing your thing, and it just revolves and continues going on. So it's great. But
I think it's a sign of a good friendship if you can live your life and then you pick up the phone or you have a chat and it's like you were talking yesterday and it could be a year that's passed. So it speaks volumes about the person you are.
Yeah. Well, it's we're always great, and then and that's one thing is many of you would have seen Tim on television and in other mediums doing his thing. And well, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let Tim talk. So first of all, tell us about TLC for Kids.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the incredible support over more than 10 years with TGF and yourself, Andrew. It's incredible. But what that support has helped us do is fulfill our services. So we have a range of programs in place to help sick kids and their families while they're doing it tough. One is our Distraction Box program, which engages children through examinations and procedures. Another service is our Rapid TLC program, where hospital staff refer kids to us to help when they're in dire situations. So that might be paying for medical expenses, fuel, or even funeral assistance sometimes, which is really sad. Or it might be something fun, or even some games or some interactive ideas for the kids and families to take their mind off what's going on. And the other program we run is now, which is the latest program, the TLC Ambulance, which very excited about that. We've got a great partnership with Ambulance Victoria, and it's an ambulance that's been set up for kids in palliative care that we can take them on their most treasured destination trip. Sadly, it'll be in the end stage of their life, but it gives the opportunity for the family to be together one more time, and we capture the whole experience on film and give that as a package to the family after the trip. So it's a unique service. It's the first of its kind in Australia that we've been able to do, but we've been able to do all these different things because we've had some incredible support. And regardless if it's 5 cents, 10 cents, or $100,000, whatever those contributions are, they all go into the pot to make sure that we are doing the right thing by these kids. And just quickly on our distraction boxes, just last year was 1.1 million times that service was used to assist the child through a procedure or examination in hospital. So very happy.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what the distraction kit is, it's basically a container with different things that people can play around with like it says, it's a distraction box, so they can play around with something while they're going through any sort of procedure or something that's actually happening, or just to give them a bit of distraction for something just playing around with. And over 1 million times they were used, and that's just it's incredible. So
it's a great tool for the hospital staff to use, and it helps also reducing stress and anxiety and the need for pain relievers. But I think most importantly, it actually reduces the treatment time for those kids. So they're physically seeing more kids because of a very, very simple but well-researched and well-used program.
Yeah. So why did you start TLC for Kids?
Literally out of a lack of services being provided for kids back in 1998. So last year was our 22nd anniversary, which we forgot to even mention anywhere. But 22 years ago, I had a visit to the Children's Hospital in Melbourne, and I found out that about 80% of the kids that were in the hospital system weren't being supported by other charities because they had to fit a criteria. So it was conditional empathy. And I didn't understand it because I was doing charitable work, but it wasn't charity. I was helping out a few families. And after having a really good conversation with doctors, nurses, social workers, and Anna Darris, who was from the PR department back then, so she helped me set up TLC, it was identified that there had to be a charity to help any kid with any illness have a short turnaround time for treating the kids, but not have a waiting list. Because there are so many great organisations out there that do amazing work, but sadly, some of the kids and families have to go on waiting lists before they can get that support. And then I wanted to fix that. So the idea was, I used to do DJing work back in the day. So it's 13 years of professional DJ. And when I was doing the charity work, I thought, look, I like doing this, but I can certainly do both jobs. But when we started TLC for Kids, it was just to encourage other charities to do a little bit more. And then about eight or 9 months after we started, we're getting requests from other charities. So it actually became an accidental charity.
Yeah.
And here we are 22 years later.
Yeah. And that's the thing that attracted me. Like when I was I'd worked with other charities before this time, and I have done some things with some other charities since supporting kind of other events and things. But yeah, it was something that I was searching for, one that I thought that would probably fit me and what I kind of believed in. And, it was just the fit and also the understanding. And I remember I was, going to many different ones speaking about, and then, I remember meeting the 501st, and they were telling me about they were doing something, and they explained that. And then, I had a conversation with you, and then it was one of a few probably talks I've ever had with people over my whole life where you've explained something and I was like, sold, done. That's it. That's it. That's the one. And because I had lots of other conversations and I was like, does this fit in? Is this something that's, I also looked at how things were supported and how things were done. And also I think for me, for when you were talking about, it's any kid, so that all that sort of stuff, that is what really kind of opened my eyes, because doing my events and that, we'd always very early on used to say, it's a place for everyone sort of thing. So that was kind of a thing that kind of, connected me to that. So I was like, let's do that. And then the other part of me wanting to do the charity sort of thing was also to get, young people and other people who normally wouldn't do it to go, look, you should have something that's some sort of community engagement, something that you give back. You're lucky enough to live in a country like this. Yep, we have lots of problems, but we have it pretty well compared to many other places. So here's an opportunity where you can maybe, even if it's something small, you can give something back and it'll make you feel good, and it's an extra engagement, and you're actually making a positive effect on your society. Because maybe one day you might be in that bed or in that situation where there is another charity that's actually doing something for you.
Yeah, and that's part of the I suppose the background and the reason why we do what we do as well, because it has to be, it's in everybody's charity. And even with the distraction boxes, it was interesting because initially with the rapid TLC service, which is, and again, that's for any illness. So it's mental illness, abuse victims, burns, cancer, cystic fibrosis. There's about 72 different conditions that we've recorded of the type of kids that we've been supporting, which is just, it blows my mind. But even when we were doing the rapid TLC service, I got to a stage, and this is early on, thinking this is really good because we're helping those families that just didn't fit the criteria, fell through the gaps. But there were some other kids that were still missing out, and I didn't know how to reach them. And then when we had the distraction boxes, it opened up the support that if a kid's got a sprained wrist, if it's their first time in hospital, if they're having an immunisation injection, or if it's something serious, they can actually use a distraction box and it can help them through that process, take away a bit of that fear of being in a hospital. But it just means that out of all the families in Australia, which works out, it's about 80% of families, their child will visit a hospital at some stage in their life. We've got a service now that can be there for them. So it's a safety net. And that's what I love, that, when people get involved, well, they're getting involved with a charity for everyone. There's no, and again with TGF, what you're doing, it's amazing because you open the doors. It's for everyone, and that's what the world should be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and that's you just nailed it. Boom, yeah, you done it. Yeah, what more could I say? So but yeah, so it's absolutely brilliant. That you're able to do that, and you've always done Tracky Dack Day and all those sorts of ones that over the years. Another big moment, and I saw it as a big flag waving for me and everyone else when we did it was if people can notice, you got a little AM at the end. It doesn't stay for AM radio. What's that stand for?
I'm a member of the Order of Australia.
So, there you go.
Yeah,
that was a great moment, and I remember watching that on the TV. Yeah, getting your award, and I was like, oh, how deserved! That's so well deserved. And there were so many people that part of who had volunteered from the past and everything else around that time with my events and that we all felt like we'd won it too. So we were like, yeah,
absolutely. Well, part of my speech was actually I'm just representing everyone. That's someone had to be a spokesperson.
Yeah.
And I truly felt that this was acknowledgement of all the hard work, the dedication, and support that everyone is part of this TLC family.
Yeah.
It'd be great if we had 550,000 awards to give out to everyone involved over the years.
Yeah.
So thank you. That means a lot. But it was for everyone.
Yeah. Now, for everyone who's watching this via the TGF Tech Games Fest stream, or you're watching this down the track on the Cause and Effect Gamers YouTube channel, we're going to have all the details regarding TLC for Kids during the broadcast. You can have that all up there, and we're going to have links so that if you, because we're not doing physical events at the moment, you can donate directly. So it doesn't have to it's not going to us at all. And when we normally do events and that, we've got all the TLC tins and everything else, and it goes straight in. And that money goes directly to TLC for Kids. We don't, and that's what we do with our events. We don't charge anyone. Usually it's on coin donations, and 100% of that money that goes into those tins, that all those goes directly to the charity. We don't take a cent. So it's all done by volunteers doing it for the sake of experience and the love of it, doing it. So if anyone's asking about that, do that. But it's also that time of year. I think also it's tax time. So if you want to donate some of that, it's a good way to go through. So
just to add on that too, Andrew, 100% of the money goes straight to our services.
Yeah.
So it's so with these type of events, like we have some corporate sponsors that help out. We've got regular giving programs. We've got other avenues of income that come through to help us cover off a lot of the administration costs and operations.
Yeah.
But all the money that's raised through fundraising events, especially through TGF, 100% of those funds go straight to services, which is having a huge impact on those families.
Yeah, well, that was a big kind of positive for me when I saw it, because I could see where the money was going. So I was always kind of, when I was checking things out, going, okay, how much is this just going in? It's been churned up in administration, and which is a big part of any organisation. But how much is it actually going out? Is it just feeding a machine, and that's it? So but yeah, that was one thing that was really good. First, now just something personal on that, and I don't think we've ever had a conversation like this. What sort of movies do you watch, and what sort of you play video games, or did you ever play video games?
I used to play a lot of video games, and I've got the old Xbox, which has moved from house to house. I've had about 6 moves, I think, since I've met you, Andrew.
Yeah. And
the old Xbox has gone into the gaming room, which would be at the front of the house, which I haven't even plugged the thing in, which is terribly sad, but I do miss it. But I used to play like Dead Space and sort of action sort of games.
Yeah.
Movie-wise, though, huge fan of things like Interstellar, Inception. Matrix is still right up there, and I know
Matrix has been mentioned, I think, half a dozen times in my interviews in the last few days.
Well, we're in it. That's it.
Yes.
So, you can totally relate to those sort of movies, and it's great escapism, because it's not just, for me, I've always been a huge fan of movies anyway. I love the cinematography. I love a really good dialogue and good story. Nothing wrong with it, a huge action blockbuster as well. But for me, it's pure escapism because, as it would be for a lot of people, because life is hard. A lot of pressures from everywhere. So I figure if you go and switch off for a couple of hours and lose yourself, there is nothing better, personally.
Like a distraction box.
Like the distraction box, but on the big screen.
Yeah.
You got a favourite movie yourself?
Oh, of course, it's Star Wars. That's the one that had the biggest impact on me for everything to do with, I don't know, getting into, visual effects, games development, IT, filmmaking, pop culture. That's the one I always go, no, that's the one I walked out of as a very, very little kid and went, yeah, it was totally life-changing. Like with many of my probably contemporaries and colleagues of my age group, especially from that period, they're like, yep, that one. So
I totally agree. It ticked every box, and I do remember that was my first memory of the huge, big space movies. But it was also around a time which still blows me away. My father, may he rest in peace now, took my brother and I to go see Alien.
Oh wow!
When it came out, and I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And he was in the old concept of, because I think it was a couple of years after Star Wars.
Yeah.
And the concept, it'd be a space movie, a bit of fun. So still scarred.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I remember. I think we just moved to Sydney, and I was I think I was around the same age. I think I was 10, and it was on TV, and I had been watching something else. My parents had gone to bed, and it was the old, click, 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 click TV. And I had it on, and I thought, I'll watch just a little bit. And I remember I was near the TV, I'm just watching it, and it was the scene where when he's crawling in the pipe. It's Tom Skerritt.
Yep. And
he's looking at it, and so it's right there, and then it does that whole thing, and I went boom, turned it off, and I was like, nope, going to bed. and I didn't watch the first one for many years because that just those few seconds went, no, too scary. I'd seen Aliens, because it was all action and stuff and had scary moments. But I was like, I don't know if I can watch that because, that Alien movie, it's like a haunted house movie.
Isn't it? And I love the concept because it wasn't the gore, apart from the chest burst apart.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was what you didn't see. So it was in your imagination. So that led me on my path to the sci-fi.
It's funny because at the time they released a toy, a big alien, which is I think a bit bigger than the Barbie doll, which apparently is really sought after. But it was taken off shelves because people went, "Hang on, this movie's rated this," and there's an ad going, "Hey, you could be the alien," and the mouth thing comes out and stuff. And parents went, "No." So, but apparently,
stick to the lightsaber.
Yeah. I remember seeing it in a toy store in the 90s, a collectible toy store in Sydney, and it was there. And I remember looking, wow, that is awesome. But at the time, I would not have wanted something like that because it's very realistic looking. But yeah.
Oh my God! And the life size one. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
Yeah. Just no. You just
no. So it's all good. Well, look. Everyone who's watching the stream, please donate to TLC for Kids. We're going to have the details up for the whole 3 days of the Tech Games Fest stream. Even if it's something minor, it's going to help them out considerably. If you're watching this delayed, the stream, still got a chance to do that. Or if you're watching this through the Cause and Effect Gamers YouTube channel, many weeks later, we're going to have the details of that. So please, donate to TLC for Kids because you will make a major difference and it's a worthwhile cause. So I'm part of...
Speaking of the... Oh, sorry, Andrew, but speaking of the difference and something that we've been talking about a lot with our supporters as well, through this pandemic, which is absolutely devastating, because our services are so unique, and we've developed a way that we get the referrals from healthcare professionals online. All of our deliveries, a lot of it might be over the phone or it's contactless anyway. So we haven't stopped any of our services except for our ambulance program during the pandemic. And these families that were doing it tough before the pandemic are doing it even harder now because a lot of them are casual work or part-time work because they're looking after their child. And now all of a sudden their income has either been halved or dropped completely, and they can't even cover the basics.
Yeah.
So it's something we're really proud of as an organisation, that we haven't dropped the ball on one case. And our donors, luckily enough for us, they recognise that. But again, just to reiterate that if anyone wants to make a donation, it's going towards a service that has not stopped. And, you know, not speaking ill of any other charities because they're just not set up for it. But there's so many charities we work with that have had to pull services because of the contact side. So we've sort of picked up the slack and we've been there. So I'd like to reiterate that all the money goes straight back to these families that so desperately need it right now. So it's, very grateful.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time, Tim. So I'm sure that, things are going to look up and up and up and up. So, thanks very much for your time and kind of sharing this time as part of the stream. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrew. And keep up the great work. Obviously, we can't wait to see it all, continue to evolve. And what you've been doing with TGF is just absolutely phenomenal. And now it's lovely because it's nice and global. Yeah. So we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye. You can come in, guys. That was so lucky because that's why I put my hand up because my kids are about to walk in the door and I thought, they're going to be noisy.
Well done.